the Tango of Silence. Hello, come in. This is a story about rhythm without sound, love without words, and the dance of becoming who you are. In a small apartment above a bakery in San Telmo, Buenos Aires, lived a girl named Alma. She was 13 years old, with eyes like dark molasses and hair that never stayed tied. She was born deaf, and for most of her life, silence had been her world. Not a cage, not a curse, just silence. Quiet mornings, the soft flutter of curtains, the way her mother's lips moved when she smiled. Alma had learned to read lips in 3 languages and fingerspelled faster than her older brother could text. She loved books, sketching clouds, and finding faces in the sidewalk cracks. But until that summer, she had never loved anything enough to feel like it belonged to her. That summer, Alma and her family took a road trip north along the coast. A beat-up van, 2 parents, 1 annoying brother, and a dog named Peppa. They stopped in beach towns, ate empanadas under trees, and slept in places where the windows never shut properly. It was in Mar del Plata, under an old awning, in a plaza full of tourists, that Alma saw something that would change everything. A man and a woman, dancing. Not just dancing, tangoing. Their bodies spoke in steps, sharp, fluid, deliberate. The man's hand hovered like breath above the woman's spine. Her heel sliced the air with precision. Their faces barely moved, but their bodies told a story older than anything Alma had ever read. She felt it, not heard it, in her chest. The thump of her heart matching their silent rhythm, a pulse in her palms. She couldn't understand why it felt like she knew this, like her body had just remembered something her mind had never learned. When her family left, Alma stayed behind, watching. The woman dancer caught her gaze and winked, then pressed her palm to her chest twice. I see you, Alma thought. You hear me. Back home in Buenos Aires, Alma became obsessed. She watched tango videos online with the captions on, studied footwork tutorials in slow motion, practiced pivoting in socks on her bedroom floor. She didn't tell anyone, not her mother, not her brother, not even Peppa, because it felt fragile, like a seed just under the soil, still deciding whether to grow. Then came the notebook. She began to sketch dancers, not just the moves, but the moments in between, the breath before a step, the twitch of the ankle before a spin, the tension in the wrist, like a violin string about to snap. She wrote what she imagined the music sounded like, not notes, but feelings. Fire in her heels, gravity in his chest. The silence between their knees speaks louder than any song. One day, Alma passed a dance studio on her walk home from school. Inside, older kids practiced to a scratchy bandoneon tune, their faces concentrated, their movements stiff. She stood at the window until the receptionist waved her in. Alma stepped inside, heart hammering. She tapped her chest, then pointed to her ears. The woman smiled gently, then wrote something down. Do you want to try? At first, it was a mess. She couldn't hear the beat, couldn't feel the shifts in tempo. The teacher clapped and called out counts she couldn't follow. The music was too soft to reach her feet. Other kids whispered when she missed steps. But Alma didn't stop. She asked the teacher to let her feel the speakers. She asked to learn through the mirror instead of words. She asked for patience, not pity. And then, something happened. She started dancing from inside. She counted with her heartbeat. She moved with breath and eye contact. She watched her partner's shoulders instead of their mouth. Every time she tangoed, she told a story. Not with music, not with words, but with presence. One afternoon, the instructor asked if she wanted to perform at the community festival. Alma froze. She imagined the crowd, the lights, the music she wouldn't hear. But then she remembered that day in Mar del Plata, the woman's wink, the story in her feet. She nodded. On the night of the show, Alma stood in the wings. Her partner was a boy named Diego, nervous but kind. He'd learned a few signs to say hello, ready, and okay. When they stepped onto the stage, Alma didn't hear the music start. She didn't need to. She felt the crowd's silence. She felt Diego's breath. She felt the pulse of memory in her bones. They danced. Not perfectly. Not loudly, but fully. Every pivot said, I am here. Every step said, I belong. Every movement said, I am not broken. I am whole. When they finished, Alma looked out into the crowd. Her mother's hands clapped like thunder. Her brother screamed even though she couldn't hear him. A girl in the front row made the sign for beautiful. And in that moment, Alma smiled. Not because she had danced, but because she had spoken in her language. Through silence, she kept dancing, joined a deaf dance troupe, choreographed routines with vibration, rhythm lights, and breath cues. She taught others. She performed across cities. And in every performance, she told the same story. You don't have to hear the music to feel it. You don't have to speak to be understood. You don't have to fit the mold to move the world. This was the story of the Tango of Silence. A story for anyone who has ever been told they can only to find out they absolutely can.